Welcome back to XCOM 2. Last time we killed a whole load of Lost and blew up an alien thing. Then we bodged the escape from a covert action, losing both Praetor Mox and Sigfold in the process. Very nasty. Then finally we had a prolonged battle where we killed an alien VIP and one of the Chosen, semi-killed again, but we lost Takehita Todo in the fighting that ensued afterwards. Now, as we come to the end of the next month in the game, there was some sort of strange effect here. I thought I might have accidentally lost the game in some way at first, because the world was temporarily turned into a lasagna or something, but I think the game's just going insane, so that wasn't as bad as it looked. Now anyway, moving on to real matters. We've plugged in the alien teleport gate that we stole from one of the story missions recently, and we can see it leads to some kind of alien base, although there appears to be nothing in it, and luckily nothing's coming back the other way right now. They tried to send a drone through there, but it doesn't quite work. It turns out you need to have some kind of biological signature to pass through these gates, so we can't go in with a robot, and we'll have to think of a way to go through it later, because we also need some sort of special security clearance. For now, it's time for another mission. It's a retaliation mission, need to go in and save a load of civilians, and luckily it's the easy variant on this mission type, the one where the civilians are all grouped together and you get a load of resistance fighters on your side that end up doing most of the work. So as we approach the initial building, a couple of Vipers and a Spectre wander into our line of sight and set up on our flank, but nothing we can't handle since the whole squad's ready to fight them. There are also some chrysalids inside that building where the civilians are hiding. Could be a problem, but of course the resistance are here and they can easily blast them from close range. One fighter does most of the damage to a chrysalid there, another one moves up and kills it, and they kept shooting for the rest of the turn. There were a few more, and I think they even killed one of the Vipers that we were fighting in the end. I used a grenade to do most of the work against the rest of that pod. Obviously we've basically won now. Spooky Sam moves up, shoots the Viper in the face, goodbye. As for the Spectre, had many people who could kill it, but I wanted to use Frank Builders at the back here to get some experience. Not the best chance to hit, but he does happen to get it here. So there we go. That's pod 1 down. Now we know there are chrysalids inside the building still, and I could even see one of them, so Lord of X will help the civilians out a little bit with that hit. The chrysalid dodged it, but it was enough to kill it because it was already damaged apparently. Another one runs in, Kajiro goes for the Overwatch shot and misses. Masako behind him also has Overwatch and gets a hit. If they had both hit, that chrysalid would have died, but because they didn't, it manages to attack a resistance member, getting a crit hit, but not killing her, so that was pretty nice, though she is now chrysalid poisoned, so she'll die eventually. One of the other fighters tries to take the chrysalid down and misses, but the one that just got hit can shoot at point blank range with the camera, for some reason showing us something outside the building for no reason. So there we go, that's the first set of civilians saved. Now there's another one in a nearby building to work our way towards. Before we arrive, the resistance will of course be annihilating absolutely everything around them, and this is pretty handy for us because not only does it mean the battle is easier, but it shows us where the pods are because the resistance can see them without aggroing them. Annoyingly here, one of the codexes clones itself to a position where it can now see us, which aggroes that pod in. A shame. Lord of X was on Overwatch and he gets rid of the cloned codex. The issue the resistance will have is that the berserker that was aggroed in there just runs right into their building and is now in among them, so in the next alien turn that could be an issue. But still, it's going to have a lot of difficulty actually surviving until then, because inside the building there were like 4 or 5 extra resistance troops who hadn't acted yet, and they just demolished this guy. I think there were like 10 resistance soldiers here. It was more than I'd ever seen, and because we really quickly defeated that first group, the guards who were there come over and join the second group, so we really didn't do much in this fight. You can see the resistance are just shooting absolutely everything, and as I mentioned before, technically if you just went and sat in the corner, the resistance might win the battle for you, or they probably will because the aliens don't really fire back. But I am going to be nice and help them out anyway. So in this turn, our troops start to arrive. Arakamani's got this really bad shot on the only enemy we can see, but I use Hail of Bullets to turn that from 10% to 100%, and there we go, that's 1 codex down, but there's still plenty more to come. A squad with 4 codexes and a berserker appears to our right, and of course 4 codexes means 8 codexes. We're already fighting a squad with 4 in it, so now that's 16 total codexes that we are having to potentially deal with. As for the Berserker, we've got Frank at the back on the building that the first group of civilians was in, and he uses Overwatch to damage it. Yoshiaki puts it down for good. Then another squad of the exact same composition appears to our left, so now we're fighting 12/24 codexes all at once. Some of them are dead already, but overall this is pretty annoying. Codexes aren't massively dangerous, but they're hard to kill because of their high dodge stat, and the fact they can teleport onto your flanks isn't too nice either. At least the Berserker is mostly killed, it's down to 2 health, and I think one of the Resistance members just shoots it during their turn. He's being very aggressive, but Lordovix is not impressed by that. Here's the most annoying thing that happened this turn. A psionic bomb was put inside the building that's full of the Resistance and civilians, and the AI for the Resistance doesn't know that it needs to move out of the way, so they're now going to get hit by that, or they are in the next turn I should say. Yoshiaki takes out a outflanked codex on our left, so that's 1 fewer codex to worry about, still plenty more where that came from. Kajiro tries to get one, but it's a dodging hit, or grazing hit I should say, so now we've got a mostly full strength codex cloning itself on top of the building, which was pretty cheeky because I did have Naruko up there hiding. She was in concealment and now she is revealed. Spooky Sam is going to clean up Kajiro's mess with a nice shot there. After that I'm going to use a kill zone here with Lordovix because he can put his kill zone onto those other 2 codexes. I don't know if they can just teleport out and that doesn't trigger Overwatch, but we're trying it anyway. Naruko just needs to shoot the codex that's standing right next to her now. She's actually using the Chosen Assassin's shotgun here. You can research the weapons the Chosen drop and then use them, so she has a particularly powerful shot. She also gets a free action due to a hair trigger upgrade that just gives you a small chance to always get a free action after shooting something, and she kills something with that free action, so really clearing things up from up there, Naruko. Thank you very much. The psionic bomb goes off and it looked like it didn't affect the civilians until it did, so that was a shame. So the Resistance are in trouble now, and that's the number of civilians alive dropping, and it's going to drop even further very soon since the aliens are on the attack. And while it looks like here they're trying to outflank us, they're actually just trying to shoot civilians. So I was worried at first. I thought Massacre was about to get shot. She's shooting back because she has the reaction fire Overwatch thing that lets her take Overwatch shots against enemies when they use attacks rather than when they move. But indeed the enemy are just attacking the civilians, which is one of the things that makes these missions easy. The civilians just tank all the damage and we're fine. The Resistance now kill a couple of codexes and then give us a couple more to kill by forcing other ones to clone. Really at this point we just need to finish things up. It's just a whole load of codexes all over the place, and once it's our turn we'll be able to sort things out. Kajiro uses Serial to kill 2 of them immediately. Then Naruko uses her vantage point to get a nice hit on another one. Lordovix blows up one over to our left. Yoshiaki's got an outflanking shot on another there. Arakumani walks up to one and just blows it to pieces with his shotgun. One of the Resistance troops kills the last codex, and then there was a Faceless who appeared in the building, and Spooky Sam got the last hit on that after the Resistance damaged it. And there we go, the battle ended. Another flawless mission thanks to all the civilians taking all of the damage there. Next up, we've finished decrypting the data we got off the codex back when it exploded inside our test chamber, and the data relates to the Avatar project. It tells us that the aliens' master race, the Elders as we refer to them, are dying of a disease and are trying to use human DNA to create new bodies for themselves. They are sort of psychic beings, so they can transfer themselves into these new bodies once that's done. And the Avatar project is, for all intents and purposes, the process they're going through to actually make this new being, this crossbreed of various aliens that's mostly human, that the alien master race can then make into themselves, and it will become the new alien master race. Anyway, there was some data missing supposedly, so we need to actually use the Skulljack on a live codex to get the full story on what all that's actually about and what exactly the aliens are doing. And we're going to have a chance to do it right now because there's a codex here on this mission in this guerrilla op that came up. I'm doing this one in particular because it's getting rid of an annoying dark event that causes enemies to come back as zombies, and we've got enough zombies in this campaign already. It's one of these nice boring sewer levels, so lots of brown to look at here. I started things off with a grenade against a group of codexes that I saw ahead of us. It causes only one of them to clone. I actually thought it would cause them all to clone. I was hoping that codexes would then just be everywhere and I'd get the chance to easily use a Skulljack on them, but only got the one. Kojiro gives us another one though by trying to shoot one with his pistol and not achieving a success. This one clones in a position that's much easier to attack on its own. It's way off to the flank, and since you need to be at melee range to use the Skulljack, that's good news. As for the ones in front of us, we don't need them anymore, so Spooky Sam's going to sort them out. He uses Face Off and kills 3 of the 4 codexes, and he probably would have got the other one, but it only grazed, it dodged the attack, so that's annoying. It clones itself right in front of us, also annoying, but at least it's easy to kill there. I can Skulljack that one right there, but I know there's an alien pod just behind this one because we actually saw it very briefly earlier. So I'm going to go for the one that's more exposed, just have to make this mad dash across the map that Arakamani can do, because I think you can use both your action points and still use the Skulljack, which is quite nice. He gets revealed, but no big deal there. And he gets the jack. There's only a 70% chance of this actually working, but every time I've ever done it in this game it's worked, so maybe it's one of those fake percentages to just make you feel lucky here, since it is essential to the game that this works at some point, so maybe they didn't want to make it theoretically be impossible for very unlucky people to ever achieve it. Anyway, so we download the data we need and we'll have to look at it later. Right now the aliens react to this hack by sending in 2 more codexes and then a new unit type, and this unit type, as we'll see in a second, is the Avatar. This is an example of one of the things they're creating, a pink-faced anime-style human, very fashionable from the elders, I must say. And yes, it just acts as a combatant in this fight now, and we'll have to fight with it. The 2 codexes are running all over the place. One gets hit by an Overwatch, but it only grazes, so it didn't die. And then Masako gets a hit on the Avatar and almost kills it, since you got a critical, so it's basically dead. It teleports around. Whenever you shoot the Avatar, it moves to a new location using teleport, but because it now has virtually no health, we're only going to have to shoot it one more time to sort that out. Arakamani needs to get out of his completely exposed position, so we'll just run him into the corner here. That's easy enough. Now I did have one more operative who can move this turn. It's Crotch. He's going to climb up onto this grating thing here and take a hail of bullets shot at the Avatar to guarantee that we kill it. And there we go, down it goes. So that didn't go very well for the Elders. Their new body hasn't been very effective. They do have absolutely loads of health and lots of powerful abilities. We were just pretty lucky to annihilate it immediately there. Also, the alien general that we're theoretically here to hunt is trying to escape, but really we don't care about that. It wouldn't even matter if he escaped. We've achieved all we need to achieve, really. We're actually getting towards the end of the game by killing the Avatar there. As for all the remaining codexes, they weren't very hard to take down. That shot of Naruko shooting one is representative of us killing all the ones in front of us, but there was one off to this side corridor with Arakamani that cheekily teleported behind him and then hit him with a flanking shot, so he lost some health. Not very much though, and he can do the exact same thing back to take revenge. Now we'll have plenty of time to heal him up as we advance, looking for this enemy general. We actually didn't make much progress because a pod saw us as we took a few steps forwards. This is the one I was worried about earlier. But they've made a terrible mistake. 4 of them are next to each other, and a really good grenade removes most of their cover and a whole load of their health. So now victory against this pod is all but guaranteed. We shoot them. I think this is just me finishing them off. Spooky Sam using lightning hands to kill one, then hail of bullets to shoot through this wall and kill an elite trooper in heavy cover. So overpowered, absolutely lovely. There we go, the whole pod was killed. The enemy priest was actually still alive in stasis, but I think he just got shot the moment he moved due to Overwatch. Now Arakamani moves up to join our position on the front line, but he ends up actually aggroing some more enemies. This pod is the one containing the enemy general, so now they'll be fighting us. We can see there's another pod guarding the extraction point, and we'll just stay where we are because we don't want to aggro them in. Once the enemy get close, we start fighting them. Arakamani shoots a shield bearer, criticalling him, and that takes off the shields of all the nearby enemies. That's very nice. Next up, the general moves into visual range. There he is. Nariko thinks she can see him, shoots through the wall, and gets a 3 damage miss. A good start at the very least, but he's got quite a bit of health, so we need to get a couple more hits in there. He's trying to shoot Kojiro up on that ledge, and he can't do it because Kojiro's in heavy cover and is above him, so that would have been a very low probability 2-hit shot. A Stun Lancer appears and runs towards us. Crotch misses the Overwatch, and the Stun Lancer hits Jeanne d'Arc. Nasty, she loses about half her health, but now the Stun Lancer is left standing in front of us awkwardly, so Jeanne d'Arc gets her revenge with a nice critical there. All we needed to do now was attack the general. Someone or other threw a grenade forwards to get rid of the cover, then Kojiro uses lightning hands to get a bit of damage onto him, and then can use his regular move for this turn to shoot his sniper rifle, and we get the hit. So that's the enemy general dealt with, mission accomplished, although we still have to kill everything else because it's not a real guerrilla op, because they didn't want to make XCOM 2 any different to XCOM 1, of course. There's just a single enemy pod left, right at the back of the map. I've now moved up to be closer to it. It's got a sector pod, one of the big mechs, and a heavy mech, a shield bearer, a stun lancer, and a purifier. Masako started us off with a bit of damage onto the heavy mech. Spooky Sam's going to take an incredibly cheeky shot through a tiny gap in some railings, using Deadeye to get extra damage onto that sector pod, so we've already taken off quite a lot of its health there, actually. The rest of the squad still needs to move up, and most of them couldn't really engage this turn. Masako made a tiny move there. Nariko pops out and shoots at the heavy mech at the same time. This is because she is on kill zone looking down that corridor, and kill zone triggers Overwatch on any action, and the action it was triggered on was the Overwatch of the mech shooting at Masako, and it even gets the hit despite her, by this point, being well into the heavy cover, but whatever. Now I'm going to use Haywire Protocol. This is what we're always looking for with the sector pods. If we can just not fight them for a bit, then victory will be guaranteed. So time to see what the chance of getting that is. We had a just over 50% chance of turning it off. Not going to go for the control because it's too unlikely. And we do get the shutdown. So there we go. Now we just need to shoot the other enemies for the next couple of turns and everything will be fine. The Stun Lancer kills itself by running in front of Nariko, and her kill zone gets rid of him. Crotch uses a grenade to get rid of the shield bearer, which also disabled the shields it had put onto the other units. Masako uses a chain shot, a cross-class ability, to put a whole load of damage onto the sector pod. Very nice. Next up, Jeanne d'Arc shoots the sector pod, and her attacks shred armor, so now it's even weaker. Just need to get one more hit, and of course Spooky Sam is going to sort that out for us again, shooting through some tiny, imperceivable gap. And the final enemy, the heavy mech, tried to run round a corner, but Spooky Sam used Serial, so he was also on Overwatch in the same turn, so could get that kill as well. Sorted. Since we took out that avatar, we can actually drag the body back to our base and poke at it, and doing so causes the Elder's spirit, their psychic energy or something, to appear briefly and then explode. Not quite sure what that means. Maybe it's dead now, the one that was inhabiting this body, or maybe it went back to its original body or something. Well, we'll never know. We have to do some more research to actually find out what's really going on with these bodies, so we'll have to wait for that. While waiting though, we get a new mission that I'd never actually seen before, a landed UFO that we can raid. This is effectively a supply raid, but you attack a UFO rather than a train. I think that's all that's going on here. So we'll head over and do that. That's actually going to have to be all for this part, because I don't have any more footage due to my ruthless editing of all the previous battles. So we will now sort this one out, and then I think after that we'll be looking to go into the end game and actually try and get the final mission unlocked. Can't quite remember how you do it, but I think we're very close, and as you can see here, we can deploy a squad of all max rank people, pretty balanced across the classes as well, so we're totally ready for the final mission were it to appear. We just need to get the final weapon upgrade, and I think we don't even really need that, and we're pretty close. Anyway, we'll see what we can do in the next part.